We got the spinny. And here we are.
Yes.
Hello. We're live.
Hello. Welcome to Evolve Your Resolve 5-Day Challenge.
I'm Karen, and this is Lucy, and we're from the Goddess Mastermind group. And we started this challenge to kind of help people pick yourself up by the bootstraps after a good half a year of groundlessness.
Yes, I know we all start out with certain intentions and certain goals, and it can be disconcerting to say the least when things happen, and then you're wondering what happened to my why? Where's my how? Why? And those reasons.
Well, and plus, so our this particular challenge is for people who are self-employed or people who have their own businesses, and which is always kind of a risky proposition, and there's a lot of uncertainty, right, to running your own business. But it seems like, I kind of felt like, believe me, I am anti people getting sick, but in a way, I got kind of like a little thrill out of the rest of the world knowing what it's like to be self-employed, and knowing like, oh wow, there's not just some big some company that's just going to write me a check every week if I do a decent job, but I have to like take that upon myself. And so and also kind of like the groundlessness of it. And I think that's been, for me, I've been like, yes, I'm not insane. Because I hear all these people and they're like, oh my God, I can't take it. And I don't know what to do with myself. And I'm like, okay, it's not just me.
Yeah, and running your business in this time where, like you had mentioned, all that uncertainty and looking at what others are. I mean, there's even some people that are mentioning that they're bored, and I'm kind of like, boy, that would be real nice. But yeah, it's a matter of sort of coming back to your resolve and finding that the course is what matters, and even when having an off day or several off days and feeling the impact of everything that's going on, it's really then digging in and saying, okay, wait a minute, let's let all that go, and let's go, yes, this is where I'm meant to be. This is these are my reasons. These are my reasons that I want to give back and connect with other women entrepreneurs. And I know, Karen, you and I have lots of conversations, and as well in our mastermind groups. That is a wonderful, community where we're able to come together and share.
Yeah, I interviewed Meg from one of our mastermind groups the other day, and I still have to edit that video, but she said that one of the most amazing things for her was hearing that there were other people who were like, I had goals for the week and I didn't get any of them done. I didn't have any, but of course, like they functioned, right? And she was like, that was such a relief for me because I kind of thought it was just me. And one of the things we emphasize not only in our mastermind groups, but when we work with people on one-on-one is, the importance of self-care. And we're going to keep coming back to this again and again and again and again. And we live in such a hyper masculine, I mean, I don't want to blame, it's not about men, right? We just live in such a hyper productivity focused culture, right? Where you have to be doing something all the time and you can't rest just to rest. Because I've talked with so many entrepreneurs and they're like, I feel guilty. If I take out time to get a massage, if I take out time to just read a book, I feel like I should be doing something else. And that's not doing anything except like, shooting off one of your toes. So it's harder to walk.
Yeah, I certainly had my share of piling things on and feeling like I need to get this done. Oh, wait, I need to get that done. And my list just kept growing and growing. And then I found myself completely depleted, needed to just, lay there on the sofa and regroup get an amazing night's sleep that really helped a lot. But yeah, that guilt kind of hangs in there because always wanting to have that productivity, communicate with that client and come through for them. So it's I think one of the biggest takeaways about our self-care and how bringing that in is the celebration part. It's like, okay, accomplish, do, yes, and then applaud when you can get out and get the massage and take that long walk, do your yoga. But that just going, yes, I did it, and kind of going, all right, good job, and like high-fiving virtually you and everyone else. Oh my God, yeah.
This is why I love posting
This,
you guys.
and then the ready?
I'm done.
Feels so good to be
It's great.
done.
Just like a little thing.
Little, but you know what? It's so easy to just be like, next thing. Before I know it, I'm not breathing, and it's like I even doing yoga need that reminder. Breathe, take a deep breath, just relax, just push the chair back, stand up, and breathe. So thank you for that.
And thanks for bringing that up, Lucy, because we wanted to talk about the goddess sustainability cycle, which is there's backgrounds for this stuff. It didn't like come out of nothing. But there's a process that you can go through. So I'm not going to go into that. But if you take this process and you go through this process every time, and you can break everything down into this process, it's a much more sustainable method. Because what Lucy's talking about is our focus on action. And a lot of times we get so focused on action that we're running around doing stuff and we have no idea what the plan actually is.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea when we finished what we wanted to start. We were working with somebody the other day in a mastermind group, and they're like, I'm going to work on my website. And Lucy and I both have we've both been WordPress developers for a long, long time. And so we know that working on a website could be anything. That could be
this, and then all the other in-betweens. Yeah.
It could be a 3-month-long job, and you can say it in one sentence. So therefore you feel like it's not that big of a deal. But, we get into this thing where like, I'm just going to go. And it's not really the best. It's not the best for you. It's not the most productive. And it's not a great approach. But we all tend to do it, and if we don't do it, we're like, oh, maybe the reason that this client didn't want to work with me was, or we can turn it back on ourselves however we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sustainability cycle in terms of the goddess superpowers, if you will, which is other part of this 5-day challenge, this initial kickoff, is sort of understanding where your strengths are and letting those be your guide. And where there's areas that, yes, you could learn and grow and expand in that, or ask for help in that. So understanding those superpowers, but this sustainability cycle and really talking about the plan, act, and then rest and rejuvenate.
Right. And so one of the first things, I'm just pulling this up because I did not get this link ready for y'all.
Oh, I can post the link for the assessment for your goddess superpower. So why don't I do that while you're getting this other one? Is that the one you're looking for? A different one?
Yeah, I'm looking for the one with the assessment.
Okay, there it is. It's in, let's see, I need to put it right here in the comment.
Yeah, so when you take this assessment, so naturally, all of us use these superpowers all the time. It's not like I'm an action-focused, action is my superpower. I'm an action-focused goddess energy person, and that's all I do. Because literally, you couldn't live like that. But what we're looking at is which one you're the most comfortable in, and which one you feel like you're the best in. Because that's one of the big challenges, particularly for people who are self-employed, is delegation, right? Oh, looks
So
like
I put it in it wouldn't let me put it in the live feed comment. So I put it in the private one here, but you also have it over there. It's
I just
basically
added it.
bit.ly
I got it. You see it's in there.
superpower hyphen.
No, bit.ly/your-superpower.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm just going to say, it's like, wait a minute, I pasted it in there and I already don't see it.
Yeah. So if you go to that link and you take our free assessment, it will kind of just clarify for you where you're at, which can be really helpful. And so today we were going to talk about the first superpower, which is vision.
Mm-hmm.
And so having a vision, like if you start a business without a vision, you're going to give up. Right? It's not going to work. So vision is the first step where you think about, like, I was talking with, sorry, I'm interrupting myself. I was talking with someone and they were saying, I don't like all this focus on mindset and visualization and abundance and all this stuff. They were like, I thought that was just like, that's for people who don't want to actually do anything. They just want to dream about doing something.
No way. Wow.
But
okay.
Sometimes true. Sometimes true if you don't move on from that stage, right? Okay. If you're just in the I have a vision stage and you don't do anything about it, then yes. Right? Yeah. But the truth is, it's really laying the foundation for your business, right? If you don't step on from, if you don't take that foundation and build something on it, then yes, it's like just a daydream, right? But you got to start. You got to start with dreams.
Yeah. Ooh.
Right. So, Lucy, why don't you talk a little bit about finding your why and how that relates to gathering your vision for your business?
Oh, my. Well, the why has to do really with the reasons why, the reasons why, before you're even stepping into that particular goal or that end result. So you're really backing it and breaking it down into those nuances with, who do you want to serve? And so then, well, you want to make a difference. You want to be able to, so all those different, I guess, nuances. And the why, trying to think how many other attributes. I don't know that I had them like off the top of my head. It's funny. I feel like it's such kind of an ingrained thing for me. It's not easy to articulate. I'm losing my
yeah. So like, would you say that your why is it like a goal? Is it like a feeling? Is it like what would you like if somebody says, I don't know, I know I do a lot of things, but I don't know why I do them? How would you kind of break that apart?
Oh, yes. I think for the most part, one of the things that we tend to be is very much up in our head. And so we think we need to be blank. And so then if you can start to sort of shift everything down into more about like feeling, and it isn't necessarily about like heartfelt feelings. It could be that you want to feel more relaxed, you want to feel more connected, you want to feel more, let's say, in tune with the details or the not, I don't want to say minutia, but like there's just different qualities, I guess, of what you want to feel. Like maybe you want to feel really expansive. Maybe you want to feel a sense of like freedom. So those kinds of feelings, where they sit for you in your body, and I know that may seem a little unusual when we're talking about business, but ultimately your business is tied in with your life. And so what it is that really resonates with you, how you show up in the world, that those things I think are what also fuels the why.
Right, right. And a why is really helpful too when you're setting long-term goals. As we work through the days, we'll get more to short-term goals, but when we're talking about vision, we're really talking about like what's your 3, 5, 10, 20-year plan? What's what's driving you? And
And
I
so, yes, to add to that, if when you start thinking, it's like, oh my goodness, 10, 20 years out, that can be really scary. That can be like, whoa, whoa. But if you choose something and then you decide to see how, try it on in your mind, what would that feel like if you didn't do that thing? That is in 20 years. Are you going to look back and go, wow, I really wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda? So that's that inquiry when you're really planning for vision. Is you know,
oh, Lucy,
please tell me.
Chinese proverb. I don't know if it's really a Chinese proverb, but this is what I heard. There's two perfect times to plant a tree. One is today, and the other one is 20 years ago.
Oh.
You just reminded me of that.
Putting the seed in, this is why we have a vision. It starts now, and that why, and really your reasons are the fuel. If you don't have those answers, you're going to just be like, I don't really feel like it today, I don't. But if you wake up and you're like, I want to be that, that is what is going to bring up the intensity, the drive, for when you're in the thick of it and you're kind of going, but you're like, but no, this, and this, and this, these whys, these reasons why I chose this helps. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to perhaps pivot and shift, but at least have that courage to put that 20-year goal down, the 10-year, and then work on how you reverse engineer and break it down.
Right. And it's like the inspiration that fuels you. Because I think when people get into 20-year goals, they're like, oh, I want to have achieved this or that or this or that. And you can work backwards from that, but I think it can get stale. But if you look at your inspiration, right? Like Lucy said, your fuel for why you're doing that, then you have this like foundation, right? It's not just a vision of success. I find that most people actually haven't even written down what they would consider to be success. So that's another thing.
I wholeheartedly agree. Defining what success means for you, because what we used to think, what we were taught, isn't necessarily what resonates with us now. Because for me, I love having my friendships, my loved ones, my relationships. I love the experience of being out there in the world, whether it be experiencing a culture, it could be the city next door, it could be a city or a country, a long ways away. But it's about those experiences that when I lay my head down on my deathbed, I want to have those. And so how's the best way to achieve that in my business and be able to help facilitate for others to achieve their goal? And so it's that camaraderie, building that love, that community, because that I don't know if anyone's watched any of my other messages, but I feel like that it all comes down to love, really. Love what you do, love yourself, and love others. And that is an amazing guiding principle. So that's part of my why.
That's incredibly grounded. And on the flip side of that, I've read some things about how now because of social media, because we're just bombarded with pictures and messages all the time, is that we tend to compare ourselves to Bill Gates. We tend to compare ourselves to Warren Buffett. Which automatically, like if you're talking about financial success and you're looking at the most successful people on the globe and comparing yourself to them, that's not something that's going to inspire you to move forward and learn. You're just going to feel like, the gap is too huge. And I think it's a really, really sad thing, because there's so much more space for opportunity now than there ever has been. But there's also so much exposure to this life of the ultra wealthy. And I know you're not supposed to compare yourself to people. I know it's like one of the 10 commandments or something, but we all tend to do it because we look at the differences, we look at the disparities, and just want to say, guard against that.
Well, and part of the nuances in there is, when you're wherever you are, starting out 5 years, 10 years in, if you compare any of your beginnings, even if it's a beginning at your 10-year mark, to anyone else's finish, it's not going to be satisfying, because they had their journey to get there.
Right.
And so financial, abundance is one thing, and there's in all ways we are abundant, and so it's how we can see that and honor that and recognize that. And out of your $100, you give that 10% away and start now, because when you have that 100,000 or that million, if you're not giving that away at that point, then you're not in that practice, you won't be giving it back and shifting and flowing.
That's a good
and so with great financial abundance can come great responsibility. And so it's and just an interesting dynamic to look at and make it. Their lives may seem as easy breezy, but if they're not fulfilling themselves and satisfying those other whys, it can be very empty. They can be just as depressed and just as medicated as anyone else. So,
and here's the question.
Yeah.
And here's the question: does anybody know if anyone else's life is fulfilled? No, no. It's only you, your standards, what goes on in your mind and your energy. It's all you. You don't have to worry about. I mean, this whole race for affluence and the symbols of affluence, also incredibly harmful, because you're focusing on what other people think of you, which you can never control. And say you just like you're saying, if you become like this incredibly lavishly wealthy person, some people are going to think that you're an empty husk. But only you're the only one who will ever know if you're an empty husk or not.
Yeah, and I mean, things are symbols. Things are what we, when you're a kid and you're like, he with the most toys, wins, that kind of thing. But while those things can help facilitate you to feel a certain way, ultimately it's how you feel inside, and how buoyant and how robust and jovial, free with your time, being able to volunteer. We were just having this conversation about that. It's like, I want to ease up a little bit on my schedule so that I can give back, because that has so much more meaning. So we do that.
Right. And what you're saying, Lucy, relates to vision, right? Your inspiration is this driving force. It is this what fulfills you. And that's the foundation. It's like the panoramic view, foundation as well. Sorry, I love to do this.
No, I know, I do too. Well, and I mean, for me, it's about painting that picture. I definitely am the creative. I can kind of put all the little compartments together, but I also want to see it too.
Right.
And so I have my vision board. I have my journals. I have my, visualization that I do each day as part of my morning routine. So there's lots of different practices that can come into play for how to shift your mindset. If you start feeling like you're really spiraling downward and in those doldrums of the stuff coming at you, it's how do you start working back into, this more buoyant and flowing energy.
And we will have some resources for that. So if you're not seeing this on our Evolve Your Resolve Facebook group, go over there and join that. And that's where we're adding our content and kind of like creating a conversation where people can connect with other people around You know, what is your vision? What's your inspiration? And sometimes it helps just to write down these things. Not that we want Facebook to know anything more about us, but I'm sure they do already. Just like writing down, like, oh, I'm inspired by this, and this is why I created my business. You can see if that resonates with you. And we're also encouraging people to go on the group, and after you take the test, to write in, you know, or take a screenshot if you feel so inspired, what your superpower is. Because leaning into your strengths is another big cornerstone of what we teach. You know, God love me, I could do math I could do logic all day long, but I have a really hard time doing math. I just know that's not my strength. If I'm going to do, you know, if I have a math problem, I'm going to hire somebody to fix it. So don't struggle. I mean, I see so many women entrepreneurs who are struggling with technology. There's like 5 or 6 different platforms, and they're trying to integrate them all together. Lucy and I happen to be experts at this, and we love solving those kind of problems. But if that's not your skill, if your skill is like therapy or like, you know, whatever kind of skill you have, if like that is confounding you and keeping you from doing the thing that connects with the people that you want to serve, that serves the vision and the inspiration that you have, hire somebody else to do it. Hire somebody else. Use your juice, you know?
Well, and that's why you come up with your why. You don't start with the how. You don't start with the answers. The answers come from your why. So it's you don't need to know exactly that final end of everything, but really getting true and honest with yourself and learning, you know, where your strengths are. And you can hear it when you're in a conversation with someone, and like in our groups, you'll be like, oh yeah, I do that too. Or whoa, I don't have anything to do with that. And so you can really see it and feel it and try it on.
Awesome. Well, great. Thanks so much for joining us today. And we're going to do a Q&A at noon. If you'd like to join us for that in our Facebook group, the Evolve Your Resolve Facebook group, not page, not event. There's a lot of things.
Right. You can start with the event to come into the page. But you can search for both and just go right to the page and apply. It is free. And so if we would love to see, you know, your questions from what we've either discussed or what we're going to be discussing over the next 5 days. So we look forward to that conversation.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So great to see you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.